Hello you, it's me. Today we're going to talk about Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World by Haruki Murakami. It's pretty sunny outside, so let's make the most of that. It's a Japanese author, the winner of the World Fantasy Award, the Frank O'Connor Award, Franz Kafka Prize, and a bunch of others. This is the second book of theirs that I've read, the first being Kafka on the Shore, which I really enjoyed. My partner recommended that to me, just loved it. Was worried this wasn't going to live up to it, but this might actually be better. The main character in this is a Calcutech, which is basically a human encryption system that passes information from the right-hand side of their brain to the left-hand side of their brain, encrypting it in the process and giving it a unique encryption code that only they can crack. In this society, there exist Calcutechs, which encrypt and store and sell information, and Semutechs, which steal it, often by killing Calcutechs and using a map of their dead brain to de-encrypt, unencrypt the files. He's hired by somebody working in the sewers of Tokyo in a hidden laboratory, which is supposedly harassed regularly by Kappas, researching the mammalian palate, using the resonance of bones to extract sound and information from them. He's using this research into tones and tonal quality to create this technology that can completely eliminate sound. And he's convinced that the advent of this soundless society will be the next step in human evolution, but he cannot allow his technology and his research to fall into the wrong hands because it could be used to sort of nefarious ends. At the same time, we follow another character, another nameless character in a walled town with absolutely no memory of how they got there. His shadow has been cut from him. The gatekeeper lets nobody leave save the shaggy-haired unicorns that run through the centre of town every day. And he's allocated the position in this town of Dream Reader. Every night he goes to the town library, is brought skulls by the librarian, on which he traces tiny lines of light and struggles to find meaning. This review might be a bit disjointed because this is a super weird book, and I want to explain some stuff without fully spoiling it, so I'm going to try my best. The main essence of this book is the parallel stories, running between some almost constructed cyberpunk Neo-Tokyo, where information exchange means something completely different, and the world called the End of the World, which you pick up pretty early on is some kind of dream world, a world that exists in a subconscious, some constructed metaphor world. For me, one of the things that made this book really intriguing was the amount of parallels that run between events in the book. It's initially a really confusing book, but a really intriguing, confusing book that makes you want to know more. And one of the things that really pushed me through was finding out how these two worlds and why these two worlds are connected. It's really good. It's a really interesting payoff. But you get these recurring themes in each world. Unicorns is a recurring theme. The idea of scrambling data in one world and your role in the other world being to unscramble and decipher data. You've got the contrast parallels of him working for a company that hides data from the public and him falling for a librarian, somebody that works in a place where information is freely available. You've got the opposing themes of fighting for survival in one story and accepting your fate in the other, and both characters trying to fill their life with experience for very different reasons. The second half of the book almost has a Dante-esque feel to it, with the real-world Calcutta having to descend into this subterranean hell underneath Tokyo, in a story that's almost reminiscent for me of Jeff Vandermeer's Venice Underground. Definitely worth a read. And then the End of the World main character, finding a way out of town by going deeper into the town and picking apart the meaning, finding the reason behind everything that's going on, with answers lying at the core. With the town as well, you get this cast of characters that the main character is trying to understand. And it feels really like an examination of how the different parts of your subconscious, of your personality, interact with each other. And it's really understanding those that let you understand who you are as a person. The book's written beautifully and interestingly. Even the translation aspect of it is really interesting. In the storyline set in the real world, in the original copy, Murakami uses watashi, and at the end of the world, they use boku, which is more intimate. This was captured in translation, which is something that's hard to do because a lot is lost in translation in a lot of books, where the translator used past tense for the real world and present tense for the end of the world. I really like intriguing workarounds like that. There's a big dick theme in this book. The real world side of the story, the Tokyo side of the story, the character talks about his dick a lot, about getting aroused when he doesn't want to get aroused. Like looking at somebody's skirt riding up over their legs while they're crawling through a poo-covered sewer. And it seems silly, it seems unnecessary, but I think more than anything it's a reference to how little control we have over our subconscious, and that really ties in with the End of the World side of the book. But yeah, if you don't like hearing about erections every 20 pages, that might be something that ticks you off. I think it's interesting also that nobody in this book is named. Everybody is referred to by characteristics or their profession, like the chubby girl, the librarian, big boy, junior, the professor. The only other book I've read recently that does that is Annihilation, also Vandermeer. Side note, I've read a lot of Japanese books with intimate scenes of men watching women eat. Is this like a common erotic thing in Japan? It's on the same level as like Quentin Tarantino feet shots. It happens a lot, and there's the impression that there's probably something sexual behind it. One thing I really liked, and the passages that I thought were really moving, were when one of the characters talks about the elephant factory. Read this to find out what that name means and why it's called that. Used to describe a place in your mind where all of your memories that your surface consciousness have forgotten are kept in a place that's being constantly influenced by your outside experience. And it's basically a processing machine that determines your actions, but that you can never see the inside of or how it works. I really love that idea. I think it would be very easy to sit back and say that this is a book about escapism. And I think while that's an important theme in the book, I don't think that's all it's about. How it's easier to run away to a dream world and avoid dealing with your problems. And yes, that's part of it. But I think the biggest point of this book is what is real and what does that even mean? What makes a world outside of your head more real in terms of it's an experience you're having than a world inside your head? Why does one have value and one not have value? How subjective is reality? Probably a lot. Another thing I think this book tackles is that the real world may be more magical than we give it credit for. In Tokyo, you have glowing skulls, sound from bone, an underground secret empire of kappa and other yokai, yet he feels completely empty and directionless in this world. It says a lot about people that the world created by the main character in his subconscious is one in which he has purpose, direction, and emotional connection with people that he gets to fulfill himself through helping. So I really love this book. I gave it 4 stars. This was sent to me and recommended to me by Steph over at Coffee Over Apples. I'll link her channel below. Go check it out. Quality content. So I'll link my Twitter down below. Don't forget to follow me on there. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more reviews coming thick and fast. I read pretty quick. Also follow me on Goodreads. I'm on Goodreads now. I'll link that down below as well. And our book club. Join that. Talk with us on the Discord about cool sci-fi. So thanks for watching this review, and I'll see you soon for the next one. Bye.